All right, we are live. It is a Rudy G Funk show. And yeah, we're going to try another beer this evening. It is Saturday night, and that's what we do on Saturday nights. We try a new beer. And this particular beer, real quick, to any drive-bys that just might read the title and uh, wonder what the hell is going on with this. This is a Joe Thomas. I guess it's some kind of collaboration with him and the Great Lakes. It's a Kolsh-style ale. Scottzilla, what's up, bro, Chacho? Thanks for chiming in there, buddy. Um, and I'll tell you how I wound up trying this evening later. But what's really interesting is I had a buddy, because I don't twit or Facebook or Snapface or do anything else. YouTube's any kind of social thing that I. Nathaniel, how are you, brother? Thanks for chiming in. But I heard a story which I believe to be true from my self-proclaimed bear snob buddy of mine. Told me a story that after the preseason game, um, one of these was sitting on Baker Mayfield's locker with a little note in reference to him shooting that beer at that Indians game, which was a really cool story altogether. Steele, how are you, brother? Yeah, I saw that, Steele. That was a great video. That was a great video, man. Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. But anyway, the story goes, and from what I understand, Joe Thomas left him a note on his locker. Hey, Anthony, how you doing, buddy? The story goes that Joe Thomas left one of these on his locker with a note saying, "If you're going to shoot a beer, shoot something good, something to that reference, some kind of reference like that," which is really cool. Um, so it's kind of cool that I wound up kind of by default picking this beer. It was kind of a last minute thing, and so I kind of heard the story and I thought it would be cool to do this. And that's kind of what the reference to the title was. How cool it would be to see Baker Mayfield do a beer review of Joe Thomas's Great Lakes collaboration here. So crazy mofo. So that's what I'm going to do first before I start yapping about Browns and other stuff like that. We're going to try this. We're going to try it now, and it's an ale. So of the Sexy Six, I pulled out a very wonderful glass, the Belgian ale glass, which I really enjoy. All of them I do, but this is one of my all-time favorites of the Sexy Six. So here we go. Hmm. Not too huge of a smell. Hey, uh, isn't Eight Camel Toes doing a birthday thing pretty soon? Yeah. So if I do want to get on there and say happy birthday to Eight and all that stuff, but wow, interesting. It smells pretty good. But I'm gonna pour it first, and then we'll get a better smell out of the old Sexy Six here. Yeah, yeah, I can't wait. I saw his little commercial, man, and it looks. I want to make sure I get in there because it looks like he's drinking some heavy stuff there. Favorites of his and some of the stuff that you guys contribute to him, which is really cool, and that's got to be cool. So here we go, the Joe Thomas Kolsh-style ale. We're gonna give her a pour. We're not gonna touch the glass. We don't want to contaminate the rim. So far, so good. Pretty good pour. Pretty good head. Pretty good looking beer. So anyway, I'm gonna smell it before I try it. Mm. I don't know necessarily what a Kolsch is, a Kolsch style ale, but I don't know if it's German or something like that. But mm, boy, that smells really good. Smells really good. I like the hue. I like the hue. Love the hue. Pretty good looking stuff. Decent head on it. Swish it around just a little bit. Don't want to disturb it too much. Seems to be grasping on there. But let me read the can real quick so you guys can hear a little bit what this is about. And if you're in Cleveland and you love Cleveland, you're probably going to like this. But here we go. Uh, this is what it says on the can. Think you've earned this beer? Try playing 10,363 consecutive snaps to thank Joe Thomas for his dedication to Cleveland on and off the gridiron. We huddled with the man himself to brew this crisp, refreshing, tailgate worthy ale. Right? Isn't that cool? And like I said, it's a Kolsh-style ale brewed in the honor of the Iron Man, Joe Thomas himself. And it's got a pretty cool, I don't see how you can see it. It looks like he's flexing right there. You see his arm there? I don't know how good you guys can see it, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool graphics on the can. Of course, it's got the 73 on it. Great Lakes they just make some great fucking beer, man. They just really do, and I can't wait to try this. So I wanted to read you the can, tell you the little backstory on it, and how cool it is to kind of try this this evening. So here we go. We're gonna give it a try. One more smell. Oh, I put my big ass lips on it already. Here we go. Hey, that's pretty good beer. Michael D, how are you, brother? Pretty good beer that tastes like beer. I'm good, buddy. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you guys chiming in this evening. Let me try to really get a. Yeah, it's not like relatively heavy or anything. It's not like a huge alcohol taste. I taste a little hops. Uh, just little citrusy, not nothing ridiculous or anything. It tastes like beer. You know, and I know that sounds stupid. Uh, some of the last couple of ones that I've done were a little far away from beer, and not that I didn't like them, but this tastes like beer, and it is refreshing. It is refresh. This is something that you could probably drink pretty good and get them down pretty. Oh, it's the alcohol content. Oh, 5.7. Wow, it doesn't taste like it, I must say. Mm. But yeah, that's pretty good looking beer. It goes down. Look at my head upside down here. Wow, pretty good stuff. Very drinkable. Oh, what happened? Do you have surgery or something, Michael D? What happened? Are you on medication or do you mean you can't drink beer like it's not good for you or oh you don't like it? You don't well yeah, that's a good reason not to drink it. That's all right though, man. You know, it's all right. You don't have to drink beer. Uh and that's cool. That's cool, man. It's cool that you don't drink beer. Mm. But this goes down very good, very smooth. Um, I don't want to use the term "not much to it" because it's a well done beer. It's well crafted, but um, a lot of Great Lakes beers have like this really huge taste to them, really big, long, lingering taste to it. And this is a little bit closer, I think, to I don't want to say necessarily domestic, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty refreshing. Yeah. Mm. I kind of want to get this first one down relatively quickly, not only because it's good, but I want to check out the webbing in it and stuff because it's normally that second pull that. Oh yeah, see, I saw those boys out already too. Oktoberfest, those are some pretty good beers. You know what's weird is during the preseason game, I referred to the Brood Dude, which had this did this. Who was it? What was it? Deftones and some brewery, I think, out by him or something like that, did a collaboration beer. So it's kind of this is coincidence. I didn't do this on purpose to try to pull in more views or whatever. This kind of happened to me. We got a brew store by us, and I do remember them having the beer kettle. That was going to be, I started the brew kettle family of beers, and I wanted to keep going. I normally like to do that, stick with a family of beers and try all their stuff, because when they're making good beers, usually their other stuff is pretty good too. So that was the mentality I had going to the store. I remember him having it. But when I got there, I guess their distributor wasn't selling well, and they wind up pulling the distributor out somehow. So I did a quick search of what I was going to do for this weekend, and this wound up being it. I saw this, and I just had a buddy tell me about this and how cool I thought it was. I was like, wow, that's great. And that's when after I purchased this, that's when he told me the story of the Joe Thomas note with a beer on his locker, which is a pretty, if you're a Cleveland fan, you love that shit. If you're not, you probably hate it. But it's really cool for the fans, and beer. I mean, Cleveland, this area is a beer heavy area, so it's always cool that. And I would like to see the Bake Man do a review of this, man. I think that'd be really cool if he got on YouTube. Or what are the other ones? The Twit, the Snapface, Fakebook, all that stuff, to go on there and do something like that, because I know it would eventually make it to YouTube anyway. That would be really cool to see him review this beer. Wow, I think I got a little buzz already, which is a little hilarious, despite all the beer I drank. But very, you know what? I take that back with the taste. As my palate's starting to open up a little bit, this is actually getting a little bigger. I would say it's a little lighter than a lot of their other stuff. Very drinkable though. Very, I mean, like in the summertime, springtime. This is a pretty good beer. It is very drinkable. For those of you that haven't entered the craft beer industry, this, kind of like a wheat or a Belgian ale or something like that, where you kind of want to tippy toe a little bit into trying a lot of these great beers that these guys are making. This is one of those kind of entry level beers I would recommend. Hey, try this, and kind of build from there a little bit. Before you try sometimes it's hard to get past a stout mentally. It's like just really dark. It looks like it's thick. It's not normally thick, but it's deceiving. So one of these beers and it's really got a great hue to it. Like I said, not a huge accent, but it looks really good. It looks really good, and it tastes really good, and it's very drinkable. Did I say drinkable? All right. Well, we got to get another one in here, because we got to check this webbing out before anybody gets the hell out of here. All right, here we go. I don't know what it is. That second one, really, I get a ready webbing. What the webbing really looks like is after the second one. I don't know if it's just I pour better, or it's just whatever remnants of it being washed. See, that's a little bit better there. See, we're getting it's a little bit better pour there. We're pushing the top there, and we like that because it just brings that aroma, which sounds a little stupid, but the closer to the top it is, the easier you can smell it, obviously. Pretty good smelling beer, but look at that. That was a little bit better pour there. So pretty good beer, man. Pretty good beer. That first one went down pretty good. And I'm not a chugger kind of dude. I don't shoot it like the Bake Man. He might feel a little funny after shooting this one. It's close to a 6%, and I don't know if that was a Miller or whatever. Nothing against Miller or anything, but I thought that was really cool that he may have done that to him. But here we go. Check that webbing. See, there we go. Some big bubbles. It's not like it's not like our Nitrogen Brothers in Colorado. There's some big bubbles, and I do like that. I do like the big bubbles too. It's a very attractive beer, and every time I look at it, I want to take a drink of it. That's basically what's going on here. A very well-made beer, um, not a particularly heavy beer, very drinkable, but it's got a pretty big taste for a somewhat of a lighter beer. Which is, as I was getting to the bottom of the, I was getting to the ass of the beer here. It's good stuff, man. That's pretty good stuff. I'm impressed. Yeah, these are going to go down real good, man. But yeah, I did see those, or I heard stories that the Oktoberfest is coming out. Oh God, I had that on tap once. I had Oktoberfest. I think it was Great Lakes on tap once at some kind of banquet or benefit. And I remember walking up to the bar and I'm like, "Hey, what do you got on tap?" And he went through several domestics and said, "And we also have Oktoberfest." I was like, "Oktoberfest? Give me that, man!" You know. So for really relatively cheap at the time, I was drinking some Oktoberfest by Great Lakes on tap, and it was really good. I was very impressed with that. So I probably won't try. Um, yeah, I get that. I get that. A lot of draft stuff is especially like the Christmas sale is another bomb. Uh, if you get it on tap, I think it's kind of it's just over the top, man. It's just that next level, and I love it. Wow, I'm getting buzzed. I'm getting pretty buzzed already. This is an Iron Man drink. You know, don't let it fool you. Not that it's got this huge punch or anything, but I got a pretty good buzz. You know, I wouldn't want to be driving right now. I drank one, and I'm starting on my second. I ain't going nowhere, man. I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying right where I'm at. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. But yeah, so next week I'll probably going back to the brew kettle, which is out of Strongsville, and try to finish off that family a little bit because their beers are pretty good, and I can't wait to try those also. But this was a nice little hiccup in the Rudy G Funk show, and I really appreciate that Joe did this. That he collaborated with a really great brewery and made a really great beer, and also the whole the latest story with leaving a beer on Bake Man's locker. You know, it's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm not dead. But anyway, I'm gonna smoke a quick cigarette, and we'll probably talk some Browns, some what we. Oh, I have not tried that, Nathaniel. I have not tried that. I heard something about. Isn't there real quick before I go smoke? I thought I heard that Thirsty Dog was an affiliate of the Great Lakes, and they kind of branched off, kind of like that U-Haul rider, rent a truck type story, where Thirsty Dog guy was at Great Lakes and was like a brewmaster there or something like that, and then went off on his own and did the Thirsty Dog stuff. So that's kind of interesting too, because I did try a Thirsty Dog. Um, Back when I didn't have the idea that I should start trying the whole family of beers as opposed to just trying a bunch of different stuff, I did the Thirsty Dog Red Ale, I believe it was. What the hell was that called? I know it was a red ale, but it had a cool dog name to it. Thirsty Dog Red On. No, Red On. Oh shit! Here comes Bigfoot. I gotta go see Bigfoot. I'll be right back. Give me a half a minute. Boy, that is good. And like I said, as I'm drinking it, it's getting heavier, and it's good. It's a good heavy, not a bad heavy. So that's cool. it is possible too that my palate is just opening up because I wound up having a beer earlier. My son tried one of my beers. He didn't really care for it, so I had to kind of finish it off for him. So it might have twisted my palate a little bit. And it is late. From what I understand, your palate is like at its best in the morning. But I'm not going to get up unless I'm tailgating, and start drinking at 9 or something. So, but anyway, so far, I really do like this beer. And this is something I would like to have in my fridge, entertain with. This is a beer I wouldn't mind handing a buddy. And maybe even bragging about it, And almost every beer I've ever tried for the show was really good. Some surprises, but they were still well-made beers. I think this is one that kind of like the Troganator, and what was the other one? The Nitro milk stout that I tried, the Colorado. The Troganator obviously was from Trogs, from PA, Hershey, PA, and from Colorado. The Left-Handed Brewing Company really does some pretty good stuff too. And this, I think I kind of put that up there with this, where I would like to have this in my fridge, and I really enjoy drinking it. It was a perfect evening for a fire, and I didn't make one, and I'm such a jackass for not doing that. One of these days I'll make a fire and I'll do the goddamn stream out there by the fire. But I'm too stupid. Radio silence. So that was so cool of Steel 58 to chime in, because Steel 58's got a great video. Him being a Steelers fan, it's cool to hear. What would you call that? Outside of Cleveland, see some of the stuff and how they portray things and stuff like that. And Steele is one of those dudes that not only does he make cool videos, but I like to hear his perspective all the time. I just kind of appreciate it. And maybe I'll start with that a little bit, because I don't know necessarily what the national perspective is of what happened during the preseason. But if you're a Cleveland fan, you appreciate that Giuseppe run to the end zone and how they all piled on, and it's that it is that kind of a Rudy. And I think, God damn it, there was one video I didn't watch yet. Brown's post game made a video, and they took Rudy and put Giuseppe's face on it and made a cool video. I'm guessing it's got to be cool because Brownie's post game makes some really great stuff. If you guys haven't watched that, watch his stuff. He does some really cool stuff, and then him and his dad get on and they go live and do all this cool shit. But anyway, he edits really well. And I saw the thing come up, but I didn't watch it because I'm an idiot. And he did the Rudy movie with cutscenes or whatever with Giuseppe's face, on Rudy. So that's kind of what was happening with Damon Giuseppe Sheehan. Which is, if you look at Rudy G. Funk episodes past, I did a video on that when they broke that story about how he got into camp and how hard he's worked. Shahu. But if you watch Steel 58's video, and that's what he says in the chat there. If you scroll up the chat, he wishes me a happy Super Bowl because of that preseason game, and how outside people see it. We kind of know the story if you read anything about Sheehy. But it's just funny. It's just a funny perspective that Steele takes on it, which is really cool, and I just kind of appreciate it, and it's funny, it's just fucking funny. But like Steele is a Pittsburgh fan, and Pittsburgh has been solid for so long that almost every year is like a fresh appraisal year for us, because of everything that's always going on with the Browns. And I guess it's kind of, how can I say this? I don't know, because I'm starting to get really buzzed actually. And I've only had 1.5 beers. I think going on what I said is just true, that every year is like this fresh new year, and I get it. Every year is a fresh new year for everybody, but it's just different for the Browns, with the Hugh firing, with Freddie being the coach now, Williams is gone. There's always just this kind of turnover that brings this kind of freshness every year, and this is probably the first of 20 years where there's actually some meat behind it, and that meat is Freddie Kitchens and the Bake Man, and Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb being in his second year. We got OBJ, obviously, Landry in his second year, and the possibilities that he has with OBJ being there, Higgins as a threat. We got so many. We are like firing on all pistons here, and watching the preseason games, we're seeing some guys coming out of the back door. Like I think his name was Lawrence. Lawrence was like tearing it up, man, in preseason. And I said I wouldn't say this, but it was preseason. But Lawrence was kind of shining a little bit. I mean, and not to mention Mac Wilson, Greedy Williams. There was a lot of good stuff to see in this preseason game. And just some of the stuff, some of the, what would you call it? The highlights I saw of other preseasons, Devin Bush looks like he's a Steeler already, for God's sakes. Josh Dobbs was playing well. From what I saw, I didn't watch the whole game. I'm watching the highlights now. So anybody that wants to parry here, go ahead. But or Mason Rudolph looked good from what I saw, and everything's different for everybody else. Things are, which is unique for us as Cleveland Browns fans. It's just unique for us. It's different. And what a great perspective I think Steel 58 puts on it from, being outside. It's cool to see. And I don't want to explain that away, and I'm not countering his video or anything like that, but just kind of radio silence. She. That's funny, Nate. That is funny. And you just don't know how funny that is. Or do you? Do you know how funny that is, Nate? Do you? Anyway, that was a great, very entertaining preseason game. And I can't say, I mean, if you watched if you watched it with us, and you watched our reaction, getting to see Dwayne Haskins was really cool. He's got the hair of a woman. Hey, who's got the hair of a woman? That's it, Nate. That's it. Um, Not only did we have a good time watching a preseason game, there were some little gems and there were some little gold nuggets in there, and I think they're always kind of there in the preseason games. And I try not to downplay them as much as everybody else because a lot of these guys, a lot of these teams are set already. You know, they've got this great foundation, whereas like I said, everything's different for the Browns. You know, did you ever feel that you had a foundation until now? And now you're like seeing a foundation. You're seeing very much on other episodes of the Reed Funk Show. You can't talk enough about the office getting their shit together. And it seems like, Budapest and all those guys, they're getting solid, and this is where you can never count Pittsburgh out. Is you don't hear about the changes like you hear with the Browns, and things are becoming acute. Not obtuse, but acute. We're coming to an apex here, and I don't want to say we're becoming the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying things are tightening up, especially with Freddie and Dorsey. Things are just tightening up, and we're becoming like a fine line, and I think people kind of feel that now, especially as Cleveland fans, that there's a little bit of a difference here between him and Hugh. Kind of like a lot of people feel there was a difference between Sashi and Dorsey, It almost seems like Sashi was the analytics guy and Dorsey's the fundamentals guy. That's what it kind of seems like. I don't think it's true. I think Dorsey believes in analytics too. I think he believes in what's going on here. That it both earthquake. Jesus Christ! I keep shaking the fucking table. Anyway, but I think Sashi had a job to do. He was hired for a certain reason, and everything was contractual. Everything was. He wasn't. I admit, as a Sashi fan, he wasn't the fundamentalist that John Dorsey is. And it's not like Sashi was a dumbass. It's. And I'm sure there's many of talk shows and everything has talked about this probably better than I did. But I just appreciate Sashi for everything he's done. It's more like that when it comes to me. Just like I appreciate everything that Dorsey's done. Sashi was kind of needed, I think, to get us to this point. And I don't want to elaborate too much because the more I elaborate, the more I'll sound like a dumbass. But I believe that to be true. And this could be a long stream if I start to fucking elaborate. And I don't want to do that, Wow. Good beer. Good beer, man. I really like it. I really like it. No sting, no nothing. I really like it. Oh, so anyway, okay. Well, we zeroed out. I kind of said everything I kind of wanted to say about preseason. It was just a fun game to watch. Me and the Stumbler had a fucking blast, and it's Browns football. I'm going to have a blast anyway, and I don't want to. I don't want to muddy the water too much when I say that. But there was obviously a lot of great takes from this preseason game. despite Steel 58's video, which I enjoyed um, because he's funny. He's a good dude. So if you get a chance, check out. Wait a minute, I thought they won that game already. I thought they won already, Nate. Are you gone? You're gone already. Okay. Well, anyway, right. I thought I just got an update that they won 6-2 or something like that on Google. So that was wrong. Going into the ninth. Well, that kind of sucks because I gave my wife false information. I did. But anyway, Nate, I love you, brother. I appreciate you chiming in. Well, you know what? I'll pour one more beer. What the hell? Let's go number 3 here. Is that Bigfoot? Oh, okay. What the fuck did I get the update tonight for from Google? Assholes. Google assholes. 6-2 is last night. Shame on me. Shame on me for not knowing that. Because me and Stumbler, we finished watching the preseason game and wound up streaming the rest of the Indians game. And it was a pretty fucking cool game, man. Oh, okay. Oh. I'm going to try and read this without my glasses. It was in a rain delay for a bit. Anyway, really great beer, really great hue. Really proud of Joe for collaborating with the Great Lakes fellas to make this beer. Now I paid $8.99 for this for a Great Lakes beer, so that's about what you're going to pay. They make some good beer, and $9 a 6-pack it is about what you're going to pay for a Great Lakes beer. So I'm not terribly upset with the dent and put in my wallet. It's worth it, and I will buy this again. I like the cans. I like the tribute. Obviously, we all love Joe Thomas, but it's a good beer, man. It's a good beer, and it's doing its job. I'm having a good time drinking it. And like I said, it's bigger. I think my palate was adjusting from the beer I drank earlier to this. It's a little bit bigger than I initially said, which is cool. I think it's a good thing. So that is good. But anyway, I think I petered out here. No pun intended. And I'm trying to think of preseason. Was there anything else I wanted to put on video about preseason? I didn't totally get into the Mac Wilson thing, which when we drafted him, I made a video about Mac Wilson, Sheldrick, Red Wine, and Taki Taki and Greedy, and how they had this kind of. It seemed like they had this kind of theme. What is that? Oh, Brandon. With the draft, which is like these guys are pretty good at covering. Taki Taki with covering the run. Mac Wilson in actual coverage, Red Wine with coverage, Greedy with coverage. Um, I do believe what I said during the preseason game that these guys are going to start off on special teams, and they're going to wind up getting more reps and more packages as the season unfolds, which is what is a good thing. That these draft picks aren't garbage or anything. Hey, Chris, how you doing, brother? How you been, buddy? How's the family doing? You guys doing well, buddy? It's kind of what we expected. I think with Greedy, kind of like what Freddie says. He just needs to even out his game a little bit, a little volatility in his game. Oh, cool, cool. We like him. We like all these guys so far, and they're kind of showing off in preseason a little bit because they seem to be better than they're hitting that status, Chris. You know what I mean? Where they seem to be better than the guys around them. And that's about as far as I'm going to go right now because I do think that's probably true. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I'm not comparing him to Haskins, but because Haskins actually played rather well, and it was cool to see him doing that. I do like Haskins, and I wish him well, even though it's the Redskins, but because he did a lot of good stuff. But for a preseason game, that was Haskins and Gilbert, the AAF guy, really made it a really interesting preseason game. It really brought things to a level that most preseason games don't go to. I think that's the best way to say it. It was a really fun watch, and I was just kind of not necessarily on the edge of my seat, but very interested to see what was going to happen between the two of them. Obviously, the defense worked out. Not just Bateman and the rest of the guys at the beginning. It was a great drive. Everything looked great and solid. And that quick pass, the 2-minute drill that they did was impressive to see. But it was nice to see Gilbert in there making really accurate throws, really, and some bullets too. Not that he can't do it, but he seemed pretty well focused, and so did Haskins, man. Haskins usually has a. Oh, you think so? I thought he did well. He's usually a slow starter. I mean, if you watch him in college, the year that he played, um, um, he's usually a slow starter. I was surprised how fast he started um, in the NFL. Because in college, when you're playing, I don't want to say lesser necessarily, but you got a few guys that are yeah, that what? That's a valid point. That's a valid point, Chris. And that's not a bad way to start either. See how much real estate you can get, on your legs. Pardon me. Your dad ain't streaming tonight, Chris, or Bad Dog. Neither one of those guys are streaming this evening. Sorry about the radio sounds, but waiting for a senor. Am I getting a glitch? Maybe I'm getting a glitch. That's possible. Well, hey, that's cool. Because your dad's pretty cool, man. He does some pretty cool stuff, man. I really appreciate him. Him and Bad Dog, they do some really good stuff. They're some YouTube pros, man. They really are. But was there any other? Did you watch any other games this weekend? A Steeler Tampa game, looked like they were roughing it pretty good too. Because like I was saying before, the old geezer. I like preseason, and I'm like one of very very few that really kind of digs preseason games. I like my bolts. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. So, yeah, Adam West didn't play at all, right? Um, what's his name? Um, I call him Adam West so much that I forget his real name, which is, unfortunately, as this show unfolds, you're going to realize that that's what happens to me. I give somebody a nickname, I can't remember their real name. Oh, God darn it. No, Phil Rivers. Philip Rivers. You said the Bolts? The Chargers? Philip Rivers looks like Adam West to me. Adam West from the old Batman. Is that who you were talking about? The Bolts? Right. And I like Philip Rivers, man. Philip's he's an icon. He's a football icon. So and a student, a very serious student of the game. From what I understand, that's all he does is study, which is cool. But yeah, I call him Adam West so much I forget his real name. Oh, yeah, that sucks, Nate. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if he's underrated. I think he's having some arm trouble. Some. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm seeing something I want to. It seems like his arm's starting to peter out a little bit, man. Yeah, I think some of these throws I see him making it seems like a maximum effort. Am I wrong? Would you appraise it like that, Chris? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know for sure. Like I see him trying harder to throw than other quarterbacks. I think that's what it is. Not necessarily that I'm some kind of guru or anything, um, but it seems like a lot of times he really forces it, to get it in there. Not forcing it like an idiot, like a rookie force, but like his arms, because he's a big dude, man. He's a big dude, and once you get that golf swing, you should be knocking it out of the park. I know he's older, um, but you still got the sling, man. You still got the sling to do stuff, and it looks like um, maybe some of his shoulder, maybe his ligaments are starting to bother him a little bit. Yeah, maybe that is too many. Yeah, too many pitches. Maybe he should lower his piss count. Maybe he should. All right, that's it. I need some truth serum so I can speak properly. Maybe that's it. Maybe he should lower his pitch count. Um, but I do like him. I do like Philip Rivers. He's a very, very smart, cerebral quarterback and uh, relatively quick in thought too. Yeah. Um, And to be honest with you, Chris, the loss to them last year, that was one of the losses that really pissed me off the most. And I mean that. And I articulated that in the preseason game Thursday. But it was a pretty easy appraisal of what they were about at the time. And the fact that we couldn't stop that really, really pissed me off as a fan. Um, and that's where yeah, I mean those pitch outs, those reverses, and like they had a really great chemistry when it came to those that open field blocking. They really oh, I think he has to sign at this point. But that I kind of hold a grudge against them. Not against them, against us. Actually, I hold a grudge against Cleveland, which, to be more honest with you, that we couldn't appraise that situation. We couldn't stop it because their outside blocking was so good. We had to do something to deter that. We had to have some kind of plan in motion that could have stopped that because we knew it was coming. It was totally it was a terrible game to watch, I think. Because at the beginning of that, if you watch that particular episode of us streaming the game, um, that was what I started the stream off with was oh yeah, that's true. Inexperience is a problem. uh, Often, often it's a problem. Inexperience is not always, but yeah, analytically, it's a problem. I see what you're saying. But yeah, Texas was another one. Texas was another loss last year that really irked me. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. All right. I gotta go. I gotta go see Eight Camel Toes. He's got his birthday party tonight. I don't know if you had chimed into that already. Hopefully, it's still going on. Um, but I gotta go tell Eight Camel Toes happy birthday and have a beer with him. So I'm gonna get out of here, guys. God bless you. You guys be safe, and hopefully we'll see you in the near future. And I'm not Nixon. I just kind of did my fingers like this and did that. So I am not Nixon. I am Maria G. Funk. I had a really good time tonight with a really great beer, talking about a really great team. So Chris, I don't know. Maybe I'll see you over there, or maybe your dad will make it over there or something. It'd be great to see you guys. God bless you guys. You guys be safe. Be productive, and I know you guys are. So lights out, guys. We'll see you next weekend. All right, guys. Later. Rudy G Funk out, and peace.